perspective, too intrusive from a privacy matter. And I think the private companies are doing a great job in this area. And so I'd like to just stay in the private company realm as it relates to dollar-based stablecoins.
The piece I can't figure out in this context on the stablecoins is if everybody's playing in this, how much margin is there really, right? And therefore, in the stablecoin arena.
Well, remember, they're not all, because if you look at the last legislation, there's no yield on the stable coins, Andrew. So if you're converting dollars into a stable coin, there's going to be a spread there for those guys naturally. I don't think the competition is going to impact that unless we switch up that yield mechanism.
Let me ask you a different question, and maybe it's a political question, but it's a business question. You obviously had your couple of minutes.
I never talk politics, Andrew. That's I'm not.
You never talk politics.
Not in politics anymore. But go ahead. I can take a political question.
He tweets it. He podcasts it. He does all of that. I'm just curious if you just weigh in on this sort of larger industrial policy question in terms of the way the country is moving. We're talking about Intel. We were talking about NVIDIA earlier and the AMD deal, and whether you look at all of this and you think of it as a very positive, affirmative approach, the way the country should be dealing with these things, or you look at them as shakedowns for corporate leaders. Which one is it these days for you?
I'm developing such a good relationship with Joe Kernan. I almost don't want to answer the question, but I am going to answer the question, Andrew.
We don't love everything. We don't love everything, but we certainly didn't vote for Kamala, or at least speaking for myself.
Okay, let him answer the question.
All right. Well, I'm going to answer the question. I appreciate surgical tariffs where we need to protect our private companies against government-sponsored companies overseas that are dumping into our markets. So I'm all about that. I don't like the massive macro tariffs. I think they're long-term damaging. I think the companies have exhausted their ability to absorb the prices of those tariffs, and they get passed on to the consumer, Andrew. So ultimately,
I gotta thank you.
It's going to disrupt.
Mami, no puedo jugar mambo. Tengo que trabajar, mami. Tengo que mi trabajo, mi amor. Bueno, vaya porque yo ya me tengo que poner a trabajar. Vaya. Hi, hello, welcome to today's daily US pre-market analysis. Welcome, Michael. If you are able to hear me, please type a yes on the chat box. Welcome. We're gonna get going in a few minutes. Okay. If you're able to hear me and able to see my screen, please drop me a yes on the chat box. Appreciate that. Okay. All right, so let's get with it. Welcome to today's trading session. Today's daily U.S. pre-market market analysis. Real quick before we get started, our disclaimer. The information, context, opinions which are expressed in the presentation and on the following slides are solely those of the presenter and not necessarily those of Vantage, and are solely used for educational purposes, as they do not constitute investment advice and or consultation on how a client should trade. Vantage does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information provided herein. Okay, your host, I'm Gio Benacourt, Senior VIP Market Analyst, Market Educator, and Demonstrator of Strategies with Vantage, bringing about 20 years plus of experience as a commodities trader, and I hold a Series 3 license and a CMT candidate. Real quick about our agenda. So we'll be looking at economic calendar, what's moving the markets, identifying key support resistance levels. We'll be trading with Fibonacci tools and other tools. So what about Vantage? We offer 1,000 plus instruments, 100 plus sharp patterns, 100 plus technical and drawing tools. We offer CFDs on major markets, forex, indices, share, commodities, cryptocurrencies. What we stand for: lightning fast execution, award-winning 24-hour support, intuitive tools, and global connectivity. All right, so let's get with it. Before that, I'd like to leave you with my thoughts about how one should start the day. And I believe that we should be able to identify clear, consistent trading habits. And just like a habit is something that we do every single day. And those things can and should be included to be comfortable with the prospect of losing money. If the market goes against you, that's one of the, it's not that it's going to be a habit of losing, but if you make it a habit of feeling comfortable with the moments that you will have losing trades, things should be better for you. And therefore, you should emphasize risk management, looking to use obviously percentage-wise. So, for example, if your trading capital is 10,000 per trade, risk between 1 and 2%. That'll be 100, 200 euros, pounds, euros, dollars, whatever denomination you're using. Okay. The same token, looking for a win ratio of 1 to 3. So you're risking 100 to win 300. That should always keep you in the game. Now, when volatility spikes, spreads widen, so you might be thinking about reducing the leverage. With us, you can go into your client portal and select the account, and then on the tools icon on the wheel, you can you can change the leverage for that account. And obviously, stop loss. We want to be able to use stop losses. They are there for a particular reason, to help you mitigate that loss. So that will help you. Okay, so habits of a process will be identifying trends, timing the entry and the exit, using the risk management, and before you take a trade, confirmation validation. Okay, so and the last thing obviously we want to control is FOMO, so the fear of missing out. So once you see the markets are running, be sure that you want to be able to be sustaining or entering a trade that makes sense. Okay, so in today's session, I'll show you a couple of practical strategies for day trading. Okay, and the first one that I'm going to be talking to you about is the Williams fractals. Okay, the fractals indicator, a tool that reveals reliable breakout points and reversal zones. Okay, so what is the Williams fractal indicator? Well, it is a technical analysis tool that highlights short-term highs and lows on your chart. A fractal up, an arrow above price, signals a recent local high, while fractal down, arrow below price, signals a local low. Each fractal pattern consists of a sequence of at least 5 bars, with the middle bar forming the peak or trough. Okay, in front of you, you have 5 bullish fractals and 5 bearish fractals. Okay, the breakout strategy, long and short, and the concept of a breakout strategy using the fractals will be enter trades when the price breaks above resistance long or below support short on high volume. Okay, and then the next indicator that we're going to be using today is the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. So basically the VWAP, okay, it's trade reversal. When what it is, basically what it is the is a volume weighted average price. The VWAP is the middle line, the blue line, right? And then it has an upper and lower band. And when prices volatility, when prices are trending, they will be outside of that band. And one reversal strategy is that when the trade reversals, when price extends significantly away from the VWAP, we can anticipate a mean reversion, meaning that the prices will come back towards the VWAP, which is the blue line. So a long setup for that will be that we're looking for price to drop far below VWAP, showing signs of exhaustion. Okay, perhaps we could see a bullish engulfing candle, and we want to enter the anticipated return towards the VWAP. Okay, so that is one way for us to look at this momentum indicator. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this, and I'm gonna hop into our charts. Okay, so let me hop in here real quick. Okay, let me start sharing my charts. Okay, so here we are. Alrighty. Okay, so in front of us we have basically a naked chart. We just basically have some trend, some levels of resistance and support that were placed yesterday, and below we have the RSI. Okay, so using it as a momentum indicator. The first thing that I do on a daily basis is come in and take a look at the daily chart, looking for obviously that trend, and we can clearly identify that the trend in this scenario, we are in a downtrend in the Nasdaq in this daily time frame, right? So therefore, we want to come in and identify possible levels of support and resistance, which levels were taken out yesterday or violated. And basically, we saw that yesterday the Nasdaq fluctuated between our levels of resistance and support. It did fluctuate a bit more deeper into our support level, and today we basically opened up at that level. So therefore, we need to update our levels. So I'm gonna leave yesterday's psychological 23,700 support level as is, and then come down and use a previous swing low or previous levels that I can identify, which in this case is gonna give me this level right here is pointing towards a level of a psychological value, which is round value 23,600. So let's use those two levels for support. I know it's a pretty wide range, 100 points. But if the market looks complacent today, we should see that the market is going to continue with this downtrend. Now, before we move on, let's take a look at what we might be seeing today for as far as earnings goes. So what are we expecting? We're expecting Home Depot to come out and report. So they did a surprise. All right. So they actually came out already and reported. They were down, and that's obviously bad sign for inflation regarding tariffs. And what else? So we have Home Depot only, the big one here today reporting. All right. So let's go back to our charts. and there's not that many really things going on. All right, so let's identify level of resistance. Okay, yesterday's level was touched, so we could come in and say that today's fluctuation during the London session, we should come in and retest that again. So there we have our levels of support and resistance. Okay, let's take it out. Now, in this particular scenario, if we apply the fractals, okay, we see that we have a fractal high, but the market has been retracing from here. So how much more of a deeper correction can we see on the markets? Well, let's expect that the markets will continue its push lower, looking for our support. So we might as well be thinking that today could be one of those days that looking entries, short entries, are favored. Doesn't mean that the market will drop. The market could reverse anytime, but that is being favored. Okay, so now we have here a fractal high and two candles to the right being formed, but the fractal low is quite distant. So again, identifying this as a possible level, as a possible date of, again, just sideways choppiness for the S&P. Basically, we are in yesterday's range, trading range. So I'm gonna leave the same levels that we have here that from yesterday. They were touched yesterday as a resistance, but they weren't broken. So let's leave the same levels as yesterday for the S&P. Take a look at the Dow. So the Dow here is looking more of an uptrend. It has penetrated the first level of support. So let's leave the same levels, looking for a buy. Then we have here the crude oil. So crude oil yesterday actually did penetrate our first level of resistance into our second one. Let's see how much we'll do a retracement today. So we're looking to continue selling the asset. So looking for those opportunities downside. Take a look at nat gas. All right, so it's continuing to trend lower. We are on the second candle, but this is a pretty strong push. So we have penetrated our first level of support. So I'm gonna select a second one, 270 psychological value. We're looking for a short sell in nat gas. Then we have here gold. Our indication today for gold and during the London session was a gap up, but then it continued pushing higher, but quickly retraced. Now, what can we expect out of gold today? Are we going to continue to see that gold will continue to push lower because of the geopolitical uncertainties that is still about? Well, let's see. Let's use today's swing high, leave that second level, actually 3350, possible level of resistance, and then support. I'm just gonna bring it a tip up, 315-ish, around that level. So again, looking for gold to rebound and do for a reversal. Silver. Let's take a look at silver, how silver is doing. All right, so silver also looking for a push lower. So I'm gonna use 3760. Actually, I'm gonna use the swing low or the fractal, and then using the swing low today so far. I'm gonna actually come and use today's London session swing high and yesterday's swing high for silver. So looking for a reversal on the commodities, on the metals. All right, then we have here a continuation to the downside on copper. So we're in a sell-off mode of copper. I'm gonna use today's swing high and then this like so. All right, so let's see. trading swing low. I'm gonna leave 440 as the same. That's our final target. So I was looking to sell. Okay, hold on for a second. All right, so Bitcoin, we saw a pretty strong move, a sell-off after a lot of whales dumped their Bitcoin after making 124,000. So that was profit taken. That was expected. So I'm actually gonna leave the same levels, looking for another leg down on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Euro real quick. So Euro is basically in range, looking for a recovery towards 117. So looking for longs today. Then we have the pound that is just trading lower. So they just used yesterday's swing high, and then 136 as a level of resistance, 134.5. And now we're gonna be looking at dollar index to see where is that direction of the dollar index is looking to do. So we're seeing how it did a strong fluctuation to the upside, but it's basically in range. So we're speculating that the dollar index will hold around 98. All right, so now that we have, let's tighten up our level of support for the dollar index. Use a swing low today and yesterday's open. These are the same levels as resistance. All right, so now that we have found that, let's go take a look at the pound. All right, so here's a possible first trade. Looking for the pound to move higher towards the our level of resistance. Let's look at the Nasdaq. So in 15 minutes, the market should be opening. Let's see how much of that movement to the upside are we going to be speculating to see. So now we are on a daily. Now I go down to 1 hour to see better what the market is doing. So I can come in and identify possible trade setups. So in this hourly time frame, the market has created a high, and it just been so a high push low, a high push low. So it's making lower highs and lower lows. Is that the case for Nasdaq? So it's going to continue to push lower. Okay. Is that going to be the case? Is the Nasdaq going to continue to push lower and hit our psychological value of 23,700? Well, if we want to take a trade, I usually take a trade on 5 minutes, on a 5-minute chart. Okay, and we see here in this particular time frame how the market it has been just fluctuating lower, just basically from this moment. So now I'm just seeing that the market is kind of like consolidating because we have equal highs, equal lows. And will this initiate a breakout or a breakdown? But we gotta wait for the market to open, right? And it'll be open in about 11 minutes from now. Okay, so we gotta wait for the market to open and take a look at what we can now identify. So in this time, let's go back into an hour so we can now filter out, scan out the other assets that we have that we're looking to trade. So as we're seeing the hourly trade, our chart, markets are pushing lower. So is this another wave, a new wave of the market? Is the market began to doing this? Is the market going to do that? Okay, looking for 64.50. If that be the case in this hourly chart, Dow has a different fluctuation. It's pushing higher actually. right? That's what it's doing. So you're gonna push. All right, so the market is pushing higher in the Dow. So 41,100 initially resistance level is being rejected. So will it found more buyers down here and to push the price higher? RSI is above 60, good indication that could be the case. Take a look at crude oil, what's doing in this hourly time frame. So pushing lower. Still got 9 minutes left to go before the market opens. All right, so we have a running market. All right, so we have a running market in the nat gas. Let me just close this. Okay, so we have a running market in the nat gas. Let's go down to 5 minutes to identify. All right, so that scenario going short in the nat gas market is perhaps doing a reversal, or is this profit taking? Now rejecting this level of support, 275-ish. Is this a possible reversal, or is this just market looking to get ready for another leg down? This candle has open gap up. Okay, so let's see where it will finish. If it's going to take out this previous high. Okay, or at least take out this previous high, this first previous high, or is this just basically profit taken after such a strong move to the downside? Okay, that could be the case as well. So let's see where this candle closes. All right, so we go by previous high, swing highs to be taken out as we're doing a reversal. Okay, so that previous high has been taken out. So this is a strong momentum to the upside being built. Profit taking is also a big part. The RSI has re-entered the neutral zone. So if you were to be a scalper, then you'd be entering in the target with this previous high, 2.775. That will be your particular target as a scalper in this 5-minute chart. Okay, let's see what else we could be seeing here. We have 2 minutes left in this particular candle, and we do see a jump in volume, but the RSI is still just way too close to the oversold territory. So this could just be profit taking, repositioning for another leg down. All right, so the target has been, the scalping scenario has been taken out, but has been met. So the high of this candle, 2.755, and the high of this candle is 2.775. 775. So this has been reached, as the scalping was reached. 1 minute left. Let's see where it closes, because that'll also give us an indication if we are to see that the market will continue this trajectory, which is to push lower. I mean, the market is showing us that, but it's a pretty steep decline. So let's see if this candle will close above that previous high, showing us momentum is gathering towards the upside. And if that was the case, okay, and if we are to continue to push higher, our next high is around 2.80. Okay, but since this candle is the body of this candle is quite steep, eyeballing it to the middle point could be which basically is this candle's swing low. So this candle. All right, so we have another 5 minutes. So we're gonna be able to see that this candle is gonna continue to move higher. RSI has plateaued, and we're looking at a reversal now, or a continuation of the trend, intraday trend, to which is to the downside. Or are we gonna be able to see another push higher in towards the 2.785? Initially 2.780 being a obviously psychological value. So will that be the case? Will that be our first target? Market is pushing higher. We have to wait and see, or if the market is going to decide to push lower, right, and just retrace all of this candle. Our intraday direction is lower, so can we come in and take on a trade to the downside, sell, order, or are we going to be bullish and say, okay, no, the market should come in and enter this part, and then my next target should be 2.75. Then my next target should be the opening of that candle, and then my next target should be the high of that candle. Let's see what will happen. We have scenarios that are working on our favor in this case. All right, so I'm gonna leave this here for a second. Let me go to gold, because gold is actually, let's see if this will be. All right, so we have gold. Oh, this is a nice rally momentum to the upside on gold. Ooh. So using the fractals, let's apply the VWAP. And the VWAP is so much higher. So if you were to be bullish on gold, you could use the VWAP to use it as a possible target. Because this candle, this market right now, it is moving. So I want to be able to wait to see if I could catch a fractal high. We have a fractal low, and that will be a place for us to come in and see where will there be a fractal high. Okay. Momentum is to the upside. It's moving strongly. This is an inverted hammer. So we're pushing lower. Reversal. Well, we actually have two hammers. So that's a direction to the upside. Are we going to be able to come in and find a possible trade setup? Enter into the upside. Let's see. A minute 23. If this candle opens, if the next candle opens gap up, that should be an indicator of momentum for you to the upside. So you could be aggressive and enter, and your target will be the VWAP in this case. Now, also, since we are pushing lower, the lower bound, your band, could be acting as a possible level of resistance, dynamic resistance, and that would be if you're aggressive and you can contemplate that the idea that the market will continue to push lower, that would have been your entry point, right? That will be an entry, and then your stop psychological value of 33.34, and your target to the downside will be revisiting this low with the fractal will be your target if you decide to go to the downside. Okay, so will you sell here? Will that be something that you'd be doing? Okay, well, we still gotta wait and see where the next candle opens. Okay, it's 8:30. We have the market has opened, right? And it's looking to be one of those. This candle didn't open the gap up, but it's pushing higher. So one thing that you could probably come and contemplate that if the market does penetrate the lower boundary band, does a throwback towards it. If it does that, right there, you could contemplate the idea that it will continue to move higher towards the VWAP. So that could be a trade setup right there itself. Okay. Now again, we gotta wait a little for the market to give that to us. Let's take a look at what silver is doing and see. Right, so silver has a pretty also fractal low. We haven't had a fractal high yet. Let's see what will happen in market. Okay, so in this case, in silver, the market actually has penetrated VWAP. Okay, and so therefore you can use the VWAP now as a level of support, but the market seems to be in a strong momentum to the upside. Confirmation could be if the RSI hits 50. Okay, but then your target would be the upper band, the upper band of the VWAP. So looking for long positions on silver. Copper has been on a tear. So copper right now has broken out of this range and is looking to push lower. So if you are entering this particular trade, or no, you enter it short, be aware that the RSI is about to enter oversold, but your target will be 441.50. That will be your target, your initial target actually. Okay, once that is taken out, then you could go by tenths towards the 4.4100. But this is looking to be a reversal perhaps, or just getting ready for another push lower. You see, the market was making higher highs